Welcome to Scout Dynamics. After our little discovery of limitations on the range, decided to come up with a dry practice routine to bring myself up to par and meet the Nguyan snapshot challenge. With ammunition being in short supply, there has been a solution to this problem long before current events. Many tactical instructors will emphasize that for every live round you send downrange, you should have 10 dry practice shots behind it. 10 dry practice shots for every live round fired downrange. Before you begin dry practice, however, there are some ironclad safety rules to follow. Reed Heinrichs, in his book The American Rifleman, has a paragraph dedicated to safety preparations. Basically, unload your weapon, check clear. Remove all ammunition from the room. Do not enter your dry practice room with any live ammunition. Once you're in the room, check clear again. If you are using dummy ammunition, unload the magazine, ensure that there are no live rounds mixed in with the dummies, load the dummies. If you have any live ammo, remove it from the room. Only then do you begin dry practice. James Yeager has a 13-step preparatory process for dry practice. Click on the link below. If at any time you are interrupted in your dry practice, you go back to step 1. This is paramount. Safety is paramount. Every negligent discharge is from violating these safety rules. Prepare properly. In addition to preparations, my dry practice target consists of a 5-gallon container filled with playground sand. So if all else fails, and a live round somehow gets in that chamber, I have a bullet trap. At 25 yards, a 4-inch target measures around 0.13 inches, a little under 1/8 of an inch. To achieve this effect indoors for dry practice, a 3/4 inch square or circular target will simulate the same effect. In his book, The Art of the Rifle, the late Colonel describes the snapshot in great detail. It is a 3-step process: eyes, muzzle, target. Now, before we begin, I have completed the 13 steps of dry practice. Magazine is clear, chamber is clear, no ammunition on the weapon. The final phase in dry practice is to announce out loud, even if you're alone, I am now commencing dry practice. Once again, check that the weapon is clear. One is now free to commence dry practice. In this 3-step process, there are 5 distinct events that take place. Upon sighting a target and determining that it's worthy of a snapshot, that it needs to be hit immediately, step 1. 2 things happen in this 1 step. First, safety comes off, and at the same time, the weapon comes to the shoulder. At this time, and this is the tricky part, your target is on your non-dominant eye. As the weapon comes to the shoulder, you enter step 2. Step 2, you shift the target, turn over the target to your dominant eye, take up slack on the trigger. If you have to make a fine adjustment on the target, this is the time you would do it. Step 4, and then step 3, the weapon fires, is discharged. So once again, 1, safety comes off, weapon comes to shoulder. 2, the target is transferred to the dominant eye. Any adjustments need to be made are done. 3, slack is taken off the trigger, surprise break. Eyes, muzzle, target. There are 2 conflicting ideas on how to conduct such practice. Reed Heinrichs insists on a sense of urgency, have a timer. Clint Smith of Thunder Ranch has a different idea. Look up his video, Tale of Two Fairies. Click on the link below. Before one does the timer, worry about doing it good. Fast comes later. Good first, then speed. Get the moves correct. Martial arts style kata. If you look at the martial arts training, a lot of these moves are done extremely slowly. Do them slowly, do them correctly. Once you've got them correctly, then work on speed. The key here, and this is what takes up most of the time, is in the alignment. Train the muscle memory to where you have to make no fine adjustments. Weapon comes to the shoulder. Shift to the right eye or your dominant eye. The sight should already be on target. Take up slack, surprise break. My routine, I'm going to do this slowly and meticulously for 100 shots. Only after completing 100 shots properly will I introduce a timer. Shot timers have sensitivity settings that will allow you to have your voice activated. I found that the Shot Timer app available on your iPhone already comes that way. So you would simply boom! And you have your time. So once you're ready to perform the timer, have your regular shot timer with a sensitivity to your voice able to activate it, or use the iPhone app and boom! 1.51 seconds. Boom! 1.9 seconds. I've got work to do, but practice makes perfect. In order to maintain your ammunition discipline in these trying times, have a range allotment box for your ammo. Every 10 dry practice shots, add a round to your range allotment box. When you have enough for a good range session, then go to the range. Take notes on how many dry practice shots you've done towards each course of fire. Allocate those rounds to that course of fire. If you have 20, 30, 40, 50 snapshots, dry practice shots, allot that amount to snapshotting at the range. If you have other courses of fire that you've dry practice with, allot those shots there. If you find yourself strong in one area, weak in the other, transfer allotments by all means. But having taken notes, know what you've allotted, make adjustments as necessary. After my first 15-minute session, I found that the chief bottleneck in achieving a successful snapshot is getting the muscle memory trained to have the weapon on target as it comes to the shoulder. It's having to make that fine adjustment. It takes up that precious half second or so, and you don't make time. Muscle memory. So one of the ways to practice that is to not fire the weapon. Just come from the hip to the shoulder and practice switching, turning over your non-dominant eye to your dominant eye. If you have to make any adjustments, you've not got the muscle memory. Shoulder, sights on target. Shoulder, sights on target. Once the sight's on target consistently, recommence actual dry practice. Hope you enjoyed watching. Like and subscribe. Practice safely.